One of the best parts of being a BTS fan has always been the theorizing. Back in the early days, we loved cracking codes, dissecting music videos, and spinning theories that were sometimes wildly off and sometimes eerily accurate. That spirit of fun is actually what made the fandom feel like a collective puzzle solving adventure. So let me be very clear as we dive in, this is just a theory. I'm not claiming insider knowledge or saying that this is BTS's actual concept. This is just me having fun the way that we used to and hopefully still do. The Crown Saga. Recently, there's been what I like to call the Battle of the Crowns in social media. It actually started with V several months ago when he posted a photo of a boy wearing a crown. After which, in a live stream, RM said the phrase, "Heavy is the crown, do you want to be king?" After that, he posted in his IG story a picture of him wearing the crown. Jin chimed in and said, "Don't steal it. I am the princess." But V got hold of it. He actually has the crown and posted it in his social media, IG to be exact. So technically, V still has it, but who knows if another member will manage to actually steal it. But that's where it all began. And that's where the idea of the crown being a concept for their next comeback, or maybe just one of the songs. So, outside of this continuous use of crown as an element in their social media posts, why is a crown a viable concept for them? Well, because they are kings. I think it's pretty obvious. No one has really matched the type of advancement and growth that they have managed to take K pop and Korean pop culture in general. But against that, victories and gains. BTS, I don't think, is oblivious to what's happening in K pop and the industry pressure on hype, even the ongoing court battles that put extra pressure on them, even though they have nothing to do with it. I mean, in the Western media or in the Western industry, we don't really care what the companies are going through. We don't think that that transfers into the artists, but Asia, specifically Korea, is a different animal. And they know that the expectations are sky high, and some people are waiting for them to succeed. Many people are waiting for them to succeed, but then others are actually waiting for them to fail. And against that backdrop, the crown makes sense as a central theme. So, what about the crown, right? Let's go through some of the possible angles. And one would be reclaiming the throne. So, on face value, the crown naturally suggests reclaiming their throne or their kingdom. BTS stepped away from the stage to serve their country. Now, with their return, there's a ready made narrative for them, and that is the kings are back to reclaim their kingdom. But the thing is that I've never known BTS to be leaning towards bragging. Even at the height of their success in chapter one, they rarely frame themselves as unbeatable rulers. Mic drop was the closest they ever got to it, but it was really more about clapping back at haters and doubters than it is about absolute dominance. Their usual approach has been the opposite. It's all about humility, grounding themselves in artistry, responsibility, and of course, connection with armies. So if they do take on the reclaiming the throne angle, I think there'll be layers into it. One of which could be about expanding the kingdom or cleaning up the kingdom. Since their hiatus, other groups actually managed to rise. But no one has elevated the status of K-pop or Korean pop in general to actual artistic legitimacy. So the role that they will be taking on will not be about crushing rivals, but more about setting a standard and reminding everyone that in this industry, known for its manufactured stars, art, artistry and integrity are ever present. But of course, there is a part of the fandom, and that includes me, that would want them to go hard. After all, no one has the receipts. They have Billboard Hot 100 number one tours that could match the numbers of Western artists and cultural influence that reshaped the global music industry. This angle could work for BTS as a starting point. They will likely twist it instead of pure bragging. They may reframe it to something like a mediation, something that explore the real meaning of power and legacy. It could be about them asking, yes, we could reclaim the throne, we could reclaim the kingdom, but the real objective this time is something deeper, something more substantial, more important, and something bigger than a throne. Seven kings, one kingdom. Each member built his own kingdom during the military service and during their solo projects, albums, tours, art, collaborations, even entrepreneurship. They didn't just fill the time, they actually established themselves as forces in their own right. It's like being a king for more than a decade and sharing the throne with six other formidable kings. And then suddenly they all go away, and you have to not just lead your own army, but also become a soldier, become a warrior, and go to the battlefield without the support of the six other strongest soldiers in the world. And and they prevailed. They didn't just win battles, they actually won wars. So the kingdom here doesn't necessarily mean commercial dominance, though they are undeniably sitting on top of the charts and on top of the sales. It could easily mean artistry itself, music itself, creativity. Each member expanded their kingdom in their way, pushing boundaries of genre, performance, reinventing artistry itself. So imagine what happens when seven kings finally return and reunite again. They're not just the BTS that made it on top of Billboard Hot 100 or did half a stadium tour. They leveled up, they matured, they evolved personally and artistically. And I've always said that for you to become a good artist, you need to become a better person. You need to be battle tested. And they weren't just tested, they were crushed into pieces and managed to bring themselves together again. And I think that's what makes their reunion even more formidable. The burden of success. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Shakespeare wrote that centuries ago, and RM nearly echoed that in his live stream. But for BTS, I don't think that crown means glory. It's more about the cost of glory. This angle could serve as an homage of some sort, not just to their current selves, but to everything and everyone that got them there. The company that built the framework, the staff who work unseen, their families, armies, and more importantly, their younger selves. The crown isn't polished gold, it's actually heavier than that. It's made from the things they sacrificed to get them there. It could be lost time with their families, privacy surrendered, every move scrutinized, normal youth traded for life on stage, just as so they could practice relentlessly and perfect the move, giving up their youth and giving up their innocence, breaking their bones, their spirit and their hearts. Hatred endured not just toward them, but also toward their fans. The pressure unrelenting to never fail because one wrong move can actually cost them everything. Their castle, so to speak, is built on blood, sweat, and tears. Not only their own, but the countless of unnamed faces, stylists, producers, translators, drivers, armies. Every brick of their empire has weight. They're heavy. The crown is the symbol of carrying it all. This isn't about victimhood, I don't think. I think we're way past that, but more an acknowledgement that the crown they wear today is forged from years of sacrifice and pain and resilience and misery. It could be gratitude as well to the loved ones who bore the cost just to get them there, to the millions who believed enough to make the burden worth it. BTS has always excelled in turning their personal struggles into universal truth. So exploring the burden of success could resonate deeply, not just a story of an idol or an entertainer or a celebrity, but as a human story of what others have to pay, of what their younger selves have to sacrifice, just as so they could enjoy the success, their ultimate goal. From kings to servants, one of the most striking photos of RM was him sitting on a chair elevated above everyone else. It looks like a throne of a king elevated above everyone else. But if you look closely, he was actually sitting on a lifeguard chair. He is elevated above everyone else. But it is not because he was the king, it was because he was serving, protecting, watching. So, in this concept, they are not kings, they're actually guards. Like lifeguards on a beach, they have a great view of the ocean and the sunset and the sand and people. But they never get to enjoy it because while others relax, play, and soak in the beauty of nature, lifeguards have a duty. You have to be ready the second something goes wrong. And BTS kind of lives in the same paradox because they stand on top of the global fame and they're gazing at this most beautiful sunset a career could offer, but they don't get to fully enjoy it because every time something goes wrong, they are expected to step in. Every time army is attacked, or every time there's something wrong with their company, or every time K-pop is attacked, they're expected to rise above everybody else and show them they are there. So the crown in this concept isn't about ruling, it is about responsibility. From kingdom to home. In their recent live streams, the members have returned again and again to the idea of home. And maybe that's the ultimate twist this time. Maybe all the crown imagery, the kings and the kingdoms and the thrones, it's not the destination, it's actually a starting point. Maybe it's just a setup because the real point is them coming home. Everyone on the outside actually, they're obsessed with BTS's commercial success and the money and the awards, but BTS has always made it clear it was never the reason they started doing what they are doing. They began with hunger to make music and to tell stories that mattered and to connect with armies, to lean on each other as seven kids chasing a dream. So if the crown represents the world's idea of success, then home for them represents their own. Home is armies, the millions of people who turn their songs into lifelines, the people that are actually listening to their music. Home is art and creativity, making music not because it will chart, but because the story has to be told. Home is each other, the bond that carried them from tiny stages to stadiums. Because lest the world forgets, before everything, the awards, the accolades, even before armies, they had each other. And so in this reading, the crown is just the beginning. It's not the end. It's the symbol that starts the journey. The world gave them a throne, but BTS chose to step off it, not in defiance, but in reminder that the real victory was never about ruling kingdoms, but about finding their way back to the place where it all began. Crowns have been used across BTS's history. RM has often used crown visuals in his photo shoots and social media. Jungkook has a crown tattoo on his finger, and he said that this is dedicated to armies. Jimin's very first in-ear monitor had a crown. He also wore a crown in his one of his photo shoots. August D Brandon himself the king in his solo work, and Jin had specially made crown that never went up for sale, unfortunately. So I think the crown isn't just one member's visual. It's been scattered throughout their imagery for years, making it a shared symbol that ties them together. Why do theories matter? Because let's not forget this is what captivated the world, how involved we are in their music, how fun it is to pick clues and to piece everything together. And sure, we never get it right. I mean, there are some instances where one person will nail a specific clue or get something right, but what they end up creating is always bigger and much more complex and much more meaningful. But that shouldn't stop us because they themselves, BTS themselves, admitted that they enjoy it. They enjoy watching us scramble for answers and just like the last time J-Hope, I think it was with Jin, where they went live for 30 seconds and then turned it off just because they wanted to confuse armies. So this is what made it fun in the beginning. It wasn't fan wars, it wasn't solo activities or this or that. It was us coming together and trying to understand and dig deeper into this very, very complex art that they like creating. So create your own theory. It doesn't matter if it's wrong, it's going to most likely be wrong anyway. Okay. So I think in closing, if I had to choose, my strongest guess is that the crown is less about dominance as it is about responsibility and sacrifice and service and probably the future. Perhaps BTS is going to tell us a story of kings who realize that the real treasure isn't really about ruling any type of kingdom, but finding their way back home. And that is back to music, back to armies, and back to themselves. Okay, looking forward to your comments, to your inputs. As I've said, I'm probably going to be wrong. I don't care. It's fun. That's what makes their music such a standout. If you can, please donate to the channel. You should see the QR code on your screen right now. It's all going to the online magazine. After that, we are going to expand our projects. We'll do documentaries. The online magazine is currently on a soft launch, hoping to get it formally launched very soon. asianentertainmentandculture.com. Also, please follow me on IG, on X, but more importantly, on Patreon, because that's where the conversations are happening. Also, please consider supporting me on YouTube membership. I do live streams once a week. I also have exclusive videos, and those things don't go public. They're just for the members. And that's it. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification button. But most importantly, please share the video. That's really what's going to help the channel and will tell the algorithm to recommend this more. Thank you so much. Till next time.